another edition of the Magnetic Podcast. We call this the evening edition. We've got the lights low here in the studio, trying out some new things, kind of never have enough time to quite get it right. And sometimes you just do it. And the content's never about the microphone or the lighting. That helps, right? It's just like a good movie if it has good production. But if the story isn't interesting, which is what we talk about here, which is why we have Elad on, it really doesn't matter, right? So that being said, I've got a new camera in the mail and I cannot wait. And in the meantime, while Elad introduces himself, I'm going to straighten my camera out. Elad, welcome to the Magnetic Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve, for having me. Really pleasure to be
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Tell the world what you do and why they would want to listen to the next 28 to 32 minutes, because otherwise, just like every other podcast, they're going to tune out. What value do they get to extract? What magic do they walk away with from you in today's episode?
Yeah, I think that mainly what I care about is creating a proper buying journey experience or proper buyer experience for tech B2B. So if you're in tech B2B or B2B in general, stick around because I have a lot to say of how to optimize the buyer journey.
Yeah, well, that's a big buzzword. I hate to say that, but everybody's kind of like, oh, the buyer journey. We got to document it and get it exactly right and know that playbook and get it right. And yes, you do. And yes, it's very important. I think the biggest thing I'd like to dig into today is on that buyer's journey, you're volunteering right away that you're for the buyer, you're pro experience. In today's messy world of content, how do you still get your message across and not be pushy? Right. And I think that's a big thing that in organic content we talk about. So Elad, let's make that question number one. How do you and your content let people know what you do without seeming pushy?
Oh wow, yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I had a discussion earlier today about there's a lot of saying that people don't want to speak with sales, right? And I mean, seeing that that's a lot of our main business in general. I'm a CEO. I'm doing sales calls every day, and the right thing is that it's not that people don't want to speak with sales, is that people don't like to be pushed to make a decision if they're not ready. So the way I see content marketing in general, content in general, and every interaction with a potential a prospect or even a client is you need to understand what they really care about right now, and you just need to provide them with this value. So whatever you do, the way I see it, as long as you provide them with value, you will not sound pushy. But if you just care about you and yourself and your product, so it doesn't really matter what you'll say, you'll sound pushy.
Yeah. Well, and I think at some point, though, people need to understand what you do, because you could tell all the stories about your childhood and what you did to become an entrepreneur. But at the end of the day, you're getting 300 people who love it going, man, I love this person. I don't know what they do, but man, I just love it. And which is kind of the point. But I think today, what we found is that content today versus content 3 years ago, you can't just post on LinkedIn and expect your DMs to light up. It doesn't work that way. How has your
Yeah.
content journey evolved when you look at how you used to do it when you first started to how you do it today, the amount of time and thought you put into it? Just let's go into that process and share that. I think that's gonna be super interesting for our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, that's a lovely question.
Good.
Yeah, when I start to generate content, I really try and understand, to map what do I care about and what do
Mm,
my clients care about, and where those two meet, right? So once I get this understanding of, okay, I want to talk about X, my clients care about, I don't know, Y, what are the places where it actually comes together?
yeah.
And then what I start doing is I start running thing in my head about, okay, out of those topics, what do I really know about that someone else doesn't know? And sometimes we think that no one will care, no one will want to hear about that. Everyone knows that, but in fact, everyone is doing something very differently every day,
Yeah.
and they see it as basic, but other people would see it like, oh my God, I never know that, I never thought about that, and this is the places where I start to think about content creation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the standard, there's a standard, like a common strategy about creating like long form content and then breaking it down into like social posts and stuff like that, and then repurposing and repurposing. And I think it's, at the end of the day, it's really important just to have a concept, like a strategy about what you really care about. So for me
Yeah.
specifically, is that the website experience for B2B buyers is broken. And I see it a lot because I see that if you take B2C marketers, they are doing the marketing and the sales function, right? There is no sales function in B2C. When you go to an e-commerce and buy a shirt, no one is selling to you. It's just a website. So B2C marketers, they really care about the end-to-end
Yeah.
journey. B2C often seems to just care about leads. And this concept breaks buyer journey and the website journey altogether.
Yeah.
Um, so it's really about how we change this mindset and really get people to understand that the website, the buyer journey, is a lot more than just capturing leads.
Yeah. Well, for a lot of people listening, they're thinking content. And so I want to really make sure that we break this up. There are many forms of content. There are very strategic content initiatives backed by large marketing departments and partners. They're very well coordinated in product led growth or software products. You are really organic is great as a fuel and an engine, but if you're in any sort of competitive space or SaaS, you're going to be wanting to hang out on search engines. And I want to have you walk the listeners through and pretend that they don't really understand SEO, but they know that it would probably work, but it's above their head and they think it costs a bunch of money.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do we
Okay.
start there?
So I think what you need to start is to understand what your audience is actually searching for, because what you think they are searching for is not necessarily what they are searching
Yeah.
for. So when we are talking about SEO or like search engine optimization, it's how do I make the content or the website answer the questions that people are asking on Google or any other search engine?
Yeah.
And search engines these days are like we are talking about like searching with AI or voice assistant. So it doesn't even have to be a written text. People are searching on YouTube. People are searching on Reddit.
Yeah.
Like
YouTube's a number 2 search engine. Number
yeah,
two. That's pretty big.
pretty big. Yeah.
Now, okay. In this, I want to kind of break it apart. We're
Mhm.
talking about if Steve Schmidt sits here and types how to increase margin by 10% year over year as a founder, you want to capture me in the moment of the struggle or the pain that I might be having in the exact words that I would be thinking in my head, right?
Yep.
That would be called like a keyword strategy. So you might say something totally different that the rest of the world doesn't quite yet know is a search. For example, instead of that, it would be a different keyword phrase, but it's getting me to the same result, right? And so, how do people take advantage of that in organic content when they're just posting on LinkedIn?
Posting it on LinkedIn, it's a bit more difficult to get
Because it does
exposure.
have SEO, right? That's like there's a
Yeah.
lot of times you'll type something in and LinkedIn posts will come up. And of course, newsletters are powered by SEO. So
Hmm.
that's where I say, well, walk me through that because it still can develop a lead from organic search to a post, but it's not something a lot of people are thinking about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are connecting SEO with blog posts.
Yeah.
So usually
Long
on
form.
long form.
So
Um,
that would be like a LinkedIn newsletter, and then taking that longer form piece of content and even then going to your website and then making that your blog. Now you have two pieces of searchable content online.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Now the thing is that when you break down the keywords, you really want to understand what do you want to capture, because you mentioned you just said a very long query that most of the times people don't really type. So
Yeah. And
you
so it'd be a very small search, right? And I could even
yeah,
go to vidIQ right now and look at it. I bet it's super small.
yeah. But what you need, what you want to really understand is what is the balance between the broader search term, for example, increasing margin,
Yeah.
versus the too long term, right? Too much
Mm.
long tail term. So you want to be something in between because you want to capture intent. So you really want to
Hmm.
understand when people are searching for something that you can provide them with
How do you
value.
find that out? Walk me back even further. Like if I'm a founder, this is fun. How do I find out what people are searching for? I mean, is there a piece of software out there?
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
what does
so
that look like?
there are a few free options and also paid options. So just as a free option, you can just imagine what people are searching for, right? Just think, okay, probably they're searching that, and you
Free
start.
option number one, your brain, right?
Yeah, but you leverage your brain. You just start typing that on Google, and with the Google suggestions, you'll really start an understanding like what people are actually searching. So if you search how do I increase margin, then you'll get a list of options.
Other questions
Yes. And
that
then
are
if you
around
scroll
that.
down, yeah, if you scroll down, you also see like other related searches, like search terms.
So do I need to then go to my website and just type those words in?
First, so yes, yes.
Okay.
But more than that, you can actually go to like if you just have a Google Ads account, you don't even have to run campaigns, but just have a open, live, active ad account. You can
You're going to
use
bid
that.
for those keywords now, right?
Yes. So you don't even have to bid for the keywords. You can just like analyze in Google Ad Planner, which is free to use. You can analyze which keywords are actually being used, so you can see their volume and who is paying for them, and then you can really understand what type of keywords you can optimize for.
So you're
Because
telling me, and this is good. I like this. I could go to if we just launched a new software product, and I thought, man, LinkedIn automation is definitely a keyword that people are looking at. I want to go onto Google, and I might want to spend some ad money. I'd really like to mathematically understand as a founder what the market size is. I understand that. What the ad spend is producing. I can't say revenue because nobody knows that, but like how many clicks is it producing? And then I could really start to do the backwards math, right? And say, well, if competitor A is getting 200 clicks a month or 200 leads a month that show up in inbound, they're probably paying this. So if I invest this and just change this, I can reroute those viewers to see me before them if I use the right keyword strategy while they're searching for that, correct?
not exactly. It's a bit.
Ah, you got me. See,
Yeah,
that's where a lot of people will get stuck and go, "Oh, wait, tell me more. I thought that was that simple."
yeah. I wish it was that simple.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, like we really don't focus on paid campaigns just because it's really there's a lot more into it. So you'll find like agencies that all they are doing is paid campaigns because you really need to understand like the algorithm and the bidding part and the competitive landscape. And then even then, you put the ad and you get the impression, but no one is clicking on that, and you want to understand why they aren't clicking on that. And then it's also about the creative. So the title, the message, what you're actually writing under the sponsored, right? So a lot of people are really going to skip the sponsored and
Yeah.
just get to the like native organic pages. So what we focus in SEO is really about like what when people are searching for something, what do they really want to see
Yeah.
or right? And then once we analyze that, then we understand, okay, so we should write like we have like I don't know like 200 characters to really capture their interest, right? So we need to understand when they are searching for how do I increase margin for a software company. What did they really want? Like, we can talk about how to reduce expenses and stuff like that. We can talk about how to sell better. We can talk about how to price. So, what are they actually searching? What are they actually care about when they are searching for increased margin? So, what we can do is we can see the current Google results. And what's
Mm.
nice about Google is they automatically optimize their search page to what people are clicking and staying, right? So if you see the search result is talking about, I don't know, how to properly structure your pricing page. So Google already did this algorithm tests and realized that people that are clicking on that specific article actually stays there and read that article versus maybe an
Ah,
article that would talk about I don't know, how to do a better math in calculating your expenses, right?
Yeah.
So this is how you can optimize and understand really what do you want to write about, what do you want to talk about, what's the actual intent for people that are searching.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're a founder and you're looking to do this, you're probably going, wait, this is just too much for me. I probably need to go hire somebody to do this. So you're saying that you would build the website and the experience and the entire keyword strategy. What am I going to pay you for this as a founder? Because this sounds like more money. Gosh, I'd rather either learn it myself in the after hours or I got to pay you to go do it.
Yeah, the way I see it, there are a lot of areas in marketing, in general, when when you found a company and you just want to start your marketing and sales. There are a lot of areas that can be self-taught, and you do it yourself, and those skills will actually serve you well in different areas such as
Mm-hmm.
copywriting, even design a bit, so like quality about the creative. So this is great. So when you actually start learning about how to write proper copyright for a website, for anything else, it can serve you for a lot of different aspects, right? It can serve you in emails, in sales, in LinkedIn messages, in decks, pretty much all around. Specifically about SEO and paid campaigns, like this information, this skill, it's a bit useless outside of SEO and paid. So as a founder, even myself, like I wouldn't do that myself. I would just, get one of the employees to do it. It doesn't make sense for me to do it because it's not applicable anywhere else besides this area.
Okay.
Um, so if you ask me, like, would you prefer to do it yourself and then forget about it and not use it again? Probably not. So I would pay for that. Unlike maybe writing content, which can be a skill that will serve you for a long time for different purposes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, there's a lot of things, and that's interesting. I want to click on that. You just said that a lot of people say, well, geez, it's interesting, Steve, because you run a content agency, yet when you ran a lead agency, you were busy as heck, and now it's not so busy. I said, gosh, yeah, it's really nice. I said, because not every founder creates content. Most founders who create content want to do it themselves, or, they have their person. So I said, our TAM is very, very small if we look at ourselves as just a ghostwriting agency. So our struggle is that's one of three things we do. Number one, we ghostwrite. Number two, we produce great video and do great podcasts, right? Number three, we go outbound with an automated solution. That is our software. That is the thing that is the moneymaker. Okay, so we're now in that phase. So interesting. I'm going to try and see if we can work a deal out on this podcast. Because I'd love to have you do a before and after and transform the magnetic website and show everybody what that looks like. And then we could come back and revisit it and actually do like a second part to this and say, hey, this is 90 days later. We implemented the website. Here was the traffic before. Here was the intent. We implemented a small da da da, completely organic, no paid ads. And this is the strategy. I think that would be great.
sure, that would be really cool. I think that the struggle with SEO is really to generate quality and great content that is also optimized for search. So
Hmm.
whenever I speak with my clients, I'm saying like, there's one thing that you need to do, and you need to do it good for SEO to work. It doesn't matter how much magic I'll put in the SEO part. If you will not generate proper content that is interesting, that people would like to read, I can't help you.
Hmm.
So that's like a big part of that. And
Because you
if you
don't do that, right?
no, we don't write the content for our
Yeah,
clients. I don't believe that, especially in B2B, that like an external agency can just come and write content for a tech B2B specifically for SEO without really investing in being like a content agency. That
sure.
this is what they do. They learn the business, they understand the business, because you really need to get involved,
Yeah.
especially when it's to the
That's a
technical.
multi-year relationship to really get to be a part of the brand.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
and and especially when it comes to the technical parts, like I have no idea about, I don't know, machine learning algorithms, and why would a data scientist will pick that word off on another. I have no idea. The
yeah,
only thing I can contribute is how do I get this specific article much better optimized for
Yeah.
Google to then understand this is the thing I want to rank number one.
So in closing on this, and then we're gonna move on because I want to really inform everybody. Is keywords as simple as mentioning them, or do I really need to go even further and invest in like I love vidIQ, by the way. I think it's a great YouTube tool. So I've used that to clean up titles and descriptions and really start to organize things and try. And I say try, right, to really start to nail SEO and a keyword strategy. And it gets really interesting how intricate it gets, right? Like, oh, I now need to go to the video in the category that's performing well, break that apart,
Yeah.
reword it, and just kind of reshoot that topic. And that's
Yes.
really how you make impact on YouTube. And then you get a great thumbnail. You get the first 3 seconds, you win it, you break it in chapters, and people in B2B are just going, whoa, what? What are you talking about, man? I just learned LinkedIn. What the hell? People are using YouTube now, and I'm like, I think so. I think it's about to be the platform for B2B. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, totally. I think that what you mentioned for YouTube is also applicable pretty much everywhere else, right?
Mm,
Um, so it's when you try and then you get something right, but not everything, and then you optimize that, and then you
yeah,
experience with something else, and then you optimize that, and then every little bit you optimize. So when it comes to search engines, so you'll see that what you want to do is it's a lot more than the keyword. So to just quickly, let's break SEO to three
let's do
main
it.
components.
Let's make this a learning moment. We're going to make this a micro moment. All right. And
So
the moment happens now.
SEO is broken down into three main components. The
Okay.
first
Component
component
one,
is backlinks, right?
component two,
Component two is your content on the website.
component three.
And component three would be the technical SEO.
Okay. So we'll back up to one and let you break each one down now.
Okay. So when we are talking about backlinks, think about
Ethical
if
backlinks, right?
yeah, only ethical backlinks.
Yeah,
Um,
let's talk about that for a second. Backlinks are essentially a backlink to a blog that's not been claimed yet, right?
No, so a backlink means every other website on the internet which is not your website that is linking to your website.
Mm.
This is a
Oh, you're
backlink.
getting people to link to your website to increase the visibility.
And the only way for Google to really get to your website and to understand, yeah, this is a you know serious website that people are linking to, or
Yeah.
which means for Google this is a website that is worth presenting. So they are counting backlinks. That's the
Mm.
number one thing that Google is doing to
To
rank
show up in this search and in the top.
in general. Yes, yeah, not even in the
Mm.
top, like in general. If you don't have
Okay.
backlinks, you will not be presented in Google. Doesn't matter what you do. Now there's a threshold about how many big backlinks, which type of backlinks, and like if you get a link from, let's say, Forbes or The Guardian, that's going to be a different type of backlink than if you get a backlink from, you know, um, Elad personal blog, which talks about, I don't
Sure,
know.
sure. The impact of that, right? It's gonna be harder to get Forbes. It's gonna be harder to get TechCrunch.
Exactly. And Google will rank that differently. Google will see it as much more important.
Hmm.
So that's for the backlink. It's a lot complicated. It's a lot more complicated, and the way to do it varies between anything from just organically putting out great content that people would like to link to,
Yep.
through reaching out to other websites, paying them, and getting them to actually, writing something for them and getting them
Yep.
to link that to your blog post, all the way through really creating like a viral thing and a product that people automatically link to, such as Canva are doing that when all of their external links are just links to their the portfolio of people. So people
Yeah.
would like to link to their Canva profile, and that's it, right?
I get it.
So
Okay. Wow.
that's for backlinks. That's like a big thing in SEO.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I'm going to break down number three because the content is I think like the really the where the magic happens, because for technical SEO, which is like the basic foundation of what we do when we start SEO, this is everywhere from how you structure your website, the URL, how you like when you use heading like H1 versus H2 on your
Yeah. And
website.
see, nobody knows what that means. Like you're breaking it down in such a great way right now, and everybody's just like,
what is
everybody in
that?
sales, right? And everybody in founders are like, oh my God, this is the
What is
stuff.
it
H1
talking about?
tags and footers.
Yeah. So if you think about how Google views your website, Google is actually looking at your source code, at what the code behind the blog post actually looks like.
Yeah.
And when we
Okay.
are talking about technical SEO, we are talking about making this code much more relevant for Google, much more understandable for Google, because Google doesn't really read how you would read a blog post. You just check what's
Scans
behind.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So when it scans it, when you put like a big title versus a small title, so the big title will get the more attention from Google. Now, there's only one main title for your article, which is your article title or your blog post or your page title.
Which
And
should be
this,
very relevant and very searchable.
exactly. And you can only have one of that. So if you have two, you just confused Google. So Google doesn't know what is that blog post about. Is that like the first title or the second title? So that's like a big no-no when it comes to technical SEO. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's really about properly structuring your code. So I would work, if you work with WordPress or any type of like a proper CMS, usually most of those stuff are taken care of, and then the rest of the stuff should be taken care of by the website developer. That is
Wild. Okay, let's back off SEO for a second. LinkedIn, is that a valuable platform for you to drive business?
100%.
Okay, talk to me about the strategy. What is it? Is it's not accidental? Walk us through the playbook. Where did it start? When did you start to notice it make impact? And what is it like today? And then where are you going with it?
Yeah, so I would say LinkedIn as a social platform is very different than other platforms. Like if I can group Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, even though those are also used for B2B, but what I see on LinkedIn is that people are much more into specifically work related aspect when they come to LinkedIn. So it's much easier to reach your audience because you know who they are. You can connect with them based on titles and stuff like that. And when you create content for LinkedIn, for example, my network is purely marketers, so marketers around the world. Um, and the way I see it, the way I see LinkedIn is LinkedIn fundamentally is a way to capture people attention in really short form posts,
Mm,
and
yeah.
then show that this is I know about this topic. This topic you didn't even think about, and I know all about it. And if I can convince people that I know all about websites and how to do proper B2B websites, they would be willing to DM me, work with me, ask me more about that. They would be willing to click on the video or the blog post they just posted and then learn more about what I have to say. And then if they decide that I know what I'm talking about, if I reach out to them or they reach out to me, it's a very different conversation. If this is just, me calling them and saying, hey, I'm Elad, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Um,
How many leads
so
a month are you getting from
not a
LinkedIn?
lot, not a lot from LinkedIn. But I think that my total addressable market is not that big.
Yeah.
Um, so when I see LinkedIn for me, is really about I hear people that are reaching out to me from referrals saying that, and I'm asking them, how did you hear about me? And then someone X told me, and I don't even work with that X. But then I realized that this other person just read about me on LinkedIn. So especially like I live in Israel, this is like a very small um, marketing community where everyone knows everyone. Right?
Yeah.
And then immediately when someone think about websites, there will be someone that read my LinkedIn posts, which will point them to me and say, "Hey, you should speak with Elad. He always
Yeah.
posts."
Yeah. So it's that dark social element of like eventually ending up to you and you're the guy, right?
Exactly.
Well,
So
here's what I
even
want to present to you before we go any further. This is going to be fun. And you don't
yeah,
have to make a decision right now. I would love, 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 love to drop an affiliate video with you and walk through this and chop it up and make an awesome video and get an affiliate link out there. But I want to show the process of the before and magnetic to push that with content to help drive. And if people go, I'm there, I want to go there. And We can get this deal done today, Elad. I think that would be fantastic.
All right, that's interesting.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Okay.
could be great. I think it could be great. I think there's a lot of people who want to see videos like that who are, hey, I'm somewhat informed. I'm not sure. I need to know where my resources are. I need some valuable takeaway so I can go click, 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 click. Oh, cool. I can do that. I don't want to do that. That's a little too intense for me. I'm definitely going to go with one of these agencies and at least ask them some questions. And I think that things like that are exactly what our space needs in YouTube right now, because people aren't quite sure where to go and they want to see more. And on LinkedIn, it is not a search engine. It is a algorithm it's feed driven. And so
Yes.
nobody's searching for things on LinkedIn. Nobody's typing in SEO unless they're
Right.
looking to add SEO CEOs to a Cadence and Sales Navigator. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
And so that's where I see the tools are different. You got to balance them. Like LinkedIn's very feed driven. YouTube is like our journey is this where we're pushing clients and seeing some really big success is they're getting onto LinkedIn, putting a micro and then extending that invite over to YouTube to see the full video. But really it's got to be a cliffhanger, right? So now your editing changes. So how do you
Yeah.
give them enough to say to see the full episode, go here and so they can go to the channel, like the channel, because now they get to see everything. The second most powerful thing we're doing is a newsletter every week
Well,
because number one, it's our call to action for all the value we delivered that week. And we really have taken people on a journey for a year and it keeps going 8,000 readers and more. And it's right smack dab to your point in the middle of our ICP. And we've had people cite when they come in that that's what got them over the edge. And both of those things are free. But to do
I've
it
got a
and to
question.
do it well is extremely hard. Oh yeah, by the way, got to post to LinkedIn. Oh yeah, by the way, got to do DMs. Oh yeah, by the way, got to run a company. And you start to go, well, that sounds fun to me, but to some people they go, that sounds like a panic attack. And oh, by the way, what did Elad say about my website? I had no idea I wasn't doing things right. YouTube channel. I don't even know my Google login. I mean, that is the state of 50 to 75% of founders out there who have $1 million in revenue and they're not sure what they should be doing and they're not sure why they're not getting the attention in this new economy. They got flipped on their head. They feel like they don't know what the fuck they're doing and they don't because this isn't a world of sales loft and Zoom info anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very 2020. If you're still running that playbook, that is why you're closing your doors. Like you've got to be using these kind of techniques where attention just doesn't happen on LinkedIn. It happens all over the internet. And I've just poured not only Elon this idea and budget into we're going to create our website, we're going to use SEO, we're going to get a strategist. We actually had 2 meetings this week with companies. Let's meet with you and we're going to implement it because we've never launched a product like that before. We're a services based company. And so we've never been in the come, see, click, make sure they're qualified so you don't waste your time on a demo on a lower price tiered product. And I think that scares the shit out of me as much as it excites me because I want to make sure that it's done the right way and that the journey is authentic and they sort of fall in love with the product before they even they don't need to demo it. They're just like, this is fucking great, man. I'm gonna click, buy, go.
Exactly.
Okay. So do I
Exactly.
sound like an ideal prospect for you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, look at that, everybody. This wasn't the intention. I didn't want to necessarily buy anything. I think when I speak of affiliates, we've seen some big success making some very small amounts of content for Apollo and with another partner now, and we're bringing on a podcast sponsor. So it's going to be really interesting to start to see these kind of explainer videos with affiliates. Do they produce what I think they will in this wild west world of B2B, where it is, I got a tip, I have a link, I can now start on the tier one offering. Maybe it's going to take me 4 weeks. Maybe I got to see 22 more videos. Maybe I got to get into a playlist where all of a sudden Elon's just whipping me through my journey. And that's the stuff that excites me because that's helped me in my personal life where I was asking questions on Google and suddenly I was on a YouTube page and suddenly I'm handing this money to this person I don't know as a coach and they changed my life forever. And I
I
think
think that
that's
that
powerful.
yes, it's powerful, and this is also like I know how old are you, Steve, but I'm not that old, but I'm old
I'm
enough to know.
46, man. I'm old bones.
I definitely know that the younger folks, like, anything else will not work for them. Anything
Yeah.
else that is not like self, exploratory and understanding and checking out and reading and understanding and making the decision themselves,
Mhm.
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So yes, if you plan to just pick up the phone and call someone and and try to sell to them, probably they're not even going to pick up the phone.
Yeah. This is great. We tried a new thing this week, and I want to get your opinion on it. It was Score app. Have you heard of that particular SaaS tool?
No. What
It,
is that?
it it is essentially, hey, I could put it out there and say, grade your SEO today, right? And you're going to go and be like, oh, I'm curious about that, right? I'm going to answer these 10 questions so I can get my score. And then it's going to tell you you're 74%. Here's what we recommend. And then you can embed a bonus, like a video from YouTube. Hey, you took the survey. Here's a 4-minute bonus video on how to add, I put in how to add link tree to your LinkedIn and use it as a content sort of tree. And I think that the most interesting part about that was the psychology of that, which is their CEO believes, I'm trying to think of his name, Daniel down in Australia. Anyways, not Daniel Pinkman, Daniel. Anyways, he believes that in this new era, we don't want to be sold to. And this idea of going cold versus go collect the data, the signals, go out there. And we released it in a LinkedIn post. We had 81 people take the quiz within 4 hours. Now, on the back end of that, we've automated sequences that go out and deliver more content. You scored this. Hey, here's some
Exactly.
additional value. By the way, typically people who are here need to get here. We do that this way. Is this something you're experiencing? And now we get to bring these people through more of a nurture versus going out cold to thousands of CEOs who might do it. And I think so far, I mean, we'll see, right? But I think it's something we're going to invest heavily in.
Yeah, I see it as like we build a lot. We call them like wizard, like assessment wizards.
Yes.
So we build a lot of that, especially like in cybersecurity. So it's either an ROI calculator if you're selling
Yeah.
something that will create like you know a
Cost
new ROI,
comparison
yeah,
calculator, ROI
versus
calculator.
exactly.
They're lead magnets, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you are
Yeah.
getting people to insert their data to understand where are they and what they can get, right?
Yeah.
So wizard assessments, that would be to assess your current situation and let you know what you're doing, what you're doing good and where you can improve.
Yeah.
And then from that, as you mentioned, I see the signals as super important. It's not only the signals as I would say it's the segments, the awareness stage, and the signals. And I'll give you an example.
Oh,
If you check all of your contacts and website visitors and LinkedIn followers and as a group, so that's a bad way to look at that. But if you segment them to those are CEOs of like small to medium
yeah.
sized companies, and those are not CEOs, but those are like other relevant founders that are doing X, Y, Z. Um, and then you segment them based on their intent or they let's call it the use case they care that you can actually support. So let's say
Yeah.
now you're offering your services, but you're also offering like ghostwriting, and you're also offering the platform. So if you manage to segment all of them, like what they actually care about based on where they visited, where they clicked, yada yada yada, and then you measure where they stand in the awareness stage, right? In the awareness funnel. Are they aware about the problem? Are they aware about the potential solutions? Are they
Yeah.
aware about your specific product?
Yeah.
And the content you send them, the nurture campaigns you send them, the links to YouTube that you send them, even if you automate DMs, right? Um,
Yep.
if this is specifically for that segment and that's awareness stage, this is the only way you can get them to care about and click on that because they are busy. Everyone is busy all of the
Mm-hmm.
time. But if you really understand from your info from the data you just collected about where they stand, what they care about, and what do you need to do to make them take the next step, this is where you hit gold. This is where
Yeah.
you can actually make them make the next step and
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah. I love it, man. It's the journey, right? That you just walked you through that buyer's journey of sort of like, what is the experience? Did I get value along the way? Did I build
Yeah,
trust? Did I feel that? Did I feel like I was able to make a decision? but still be reminded that the decision needed to be made. I feel like that's the best way to say it. And this has been super interesting. I mean, for this would be me, I'd be in the car, I'd pull over and take a bunch of notes if I heard this, because I think that it's all super applicable. A couple things. Number one, you didn't say the price. What is a good average price to someone who wants to work with you?
So we actually have like a what we call the seed package. So for early stage startup mainly, so we priced it at 30K,
Hmm.
which will get you like a proper design and a new website.
Yeah,
But usually the way we see it is that the website is just phase one. The actual work starts when you optimize the website. You
yeah,
constantly review it and optimize that. So for most of our clients, we're talking between anywhere from 5 to 10K a month to
yep,
really optimize.
yeah,
Obviously, it's varies between the size of companies and how much they can actually produce in terms of
yeah,
content on the website. But this is what we care about.
yeah, yeah. So this is for people who are pretty serious about it, right? I like that. This is
Yeah. We only people that can really
pay the
invest
bills.
time in that and pay the
Yeah,
bills
yeah.
and really care about high growth, like not for
And
lifestyle.
this is, I love it, man. I tell everybody, if you are not investing into being very hyper, I don't know, everywhere right now with really compelling content on the internet, there are 10 people who are going to kick your ass because there are so many people who are getting ready to do this. There are some AI solutions that are very effective in just sort of doing some simple things.
Yep.
And especially, I'm just saying, the older people in their 40s and 50s who kind of like mastered LinkedIn and don't see this other stuff coming, that can change the game. And I'm sitting there going, hey, I'm 46, but I know every tool that's out there like a 21-year-old would, because I have to stay relevant. I have to understand what's going on. And I think that right now there's a seismic shift, and people need to pay attention that this is not a predictable revenue world. This is not a world of pair and SDR with an AE. This is figure out what your objective is, reverse engineer it. It might cost you money, it might cost you time, but if you don't do anything, you're really screwed. Um,
Yep.
you're either going to pay someone to do it, or you got to do it yourself. And I think as a founder, which is really the people I'm trying to talk to here on this show, or have us talk to, some people are really wanting to always do. I want to produce more revenue. And I'm sure you get this question, well, how many leads is this going to produce? You're like, I don't know. Let's get out there and be relevant and get content out there. And I think what I always tell people is, you're either going to do it with me, you're going to do it with somebody else, or you're not going to do it.
Hmm.
Third choice is terrible. So
Yep.
don't make that one. Second choice, I'm fine with. First choice, I hope I've at least explained this to you in a way that would say, I trust that he understands what this can do for the right fit of the company. Whether or not I am that fit is up to me to determine. And I think that that's the power of content, because then they can go check it all out and do it on their own time and come back and say, yeah, we want to go ahead. Like, we saw your content library. We learned a lot. You've got a community. You guys are doing this thing. You're not some, you're not some company I think is going to go away overnight. So I think it's great. I think your offering is obviously rich. It's premium. I love that. We float in that same boat, right? We're about 8 to 10K on average a month to work with, and we now have a lower tier offering, but we'll see how that goes. And so, Elad, I'm excited to potentially work with you. I learned a lot on this show selfishly. Where can people find you on the internet?
So best way obviously is LinkedIn. Hit me up on LinkedIn. It's Elad Hefetz. It's if you listen to that, you'll probably figure out where to search my name. Or AirFleet, airfleet.co. This is our website and also our company profile on LinkedIn. A
Yeah.
lot of good information about B2B marketing and specifically website related.
So if someone contacted you, they could sit down and just chat about this with you and say, hey, man, I don't really know what's going on. Can we take a look under the hood, and you can tell me maybe where I need to be headed at a minimum and whether or not I'm a good fit for what you're doing?
Sorry? Can you repeat it?
You would meet with somebody, if somebody who's listening to this podcast is like, hey, I'm not sure if I'm going to buy, but I'm very curious. Is it, reach out to you at the DM, schedule some time, you'll walk through that with them?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay,
I
cool.
can. Yeah. We even do audits for websites, like very initial audits for website to say if that even makes sense to work
Yeah,
with us to get the money.
very cool. All right. Well, I learned so much today. Thank you again. I hope you have a great evening. Sorry I was late to the new studio. We're getting things all around here, but we're right on time because we're 16 minutes short, but technically we're 16 minutes late. So we're right on time. Thank you, everybody. My name is Steve Schmidt. I'm the CEO and founder of Magnetic. This was an awesome edition of the Magnetic podcast, where we dove deep into SEO, talked a lot about keywords, talked about how that's relevant in your organic content strategy. And I took notes. I'm going to go back and dump this call, annotate it, and then we're going to have some fun. And then Elad and I are going to work together, and we're going to make some magic here and show you the before and after. I can't wait. This is the stuff I love, where you actually get to see the journey versus just hear about it. So everybody, have a great time. If you need any content tips, just keep listening to this show. We got a lot.
Amazing stuff, Steve.